So a bit ago I was browsing around on GitHub and I found an interesting repo called BadWDSD, which allows you to custom firmware a PS3 Superslim, like a Superslim, which is kind of crazy. As far as I know, this is the first time this has ever been possible, though it is specifically the ones that do have a NOR flash, so if your PS3 uses eMMC storage, this will not work. Browsing around this repo, there's kind of a lot that has to go into this. There's a good bit of soldering involved, like right here for the CMD and CLK points, the SC, RX, and SCTX 3.3 volt and ground, but it's really not that terrible. So right here, this depends on an RP2040 board. There are a few that are supported. This is the one that applies to me. You can see here that the diagram will show you exactly what you need to solder to the 2040 board, like the CLK goes to 0.6. Going over here to the releases section, there is a zip file that you can download by clicking on this link that will contain all of the stuff you need, like the .uf2 file to be flashed to the RP2040, and all of the stuff that you'd load on your flash drive, like StageX and the custom firmware stuff. This is the one that I ended up picking. This is the RP2040 Tiny from Waveshare at a friend's recommendation. Thank you, Peyton. This ended up working out really well. The soldering iron that I got is a Pinesol. I actually bought this a really long time ago, but ended up not having anything to use it for until now. It did come with a tip, but I ended up replacing it with a different one pretty much immediately because these are really small solder points, so I wanted to get something that was a little bit finer. So I ended up powering my Pinesol off of the charger from my ThinkPad T480, which is conveniently very appropriate for the Pinesol, surprisingly. I was able to run this thing up to its maximum temperatures with no real issues. The new tip that I got, I ended up putting this on my Pinesol immediately, and it's the tip that I used throughout the entire thing. Given this is my first time using this, I did spend kind of a while trying to figure out how to get it to heat up because who reads manuals, right? I have a little stand to put my soldering iron on, but I ended up breaking it literally immediately, which was really convenient. But going forward, I just did a teardown of the PS3. There's guides for this on YouTube elsewhere. So eventually I got it down to just the motherboard, and here I have just a micro USB cable. The guide says specifically not to use magnet wire for the 3.3 volt and ground, so I ended up just stripping a USB cable for this. Here I'm using my soldering iron to strip some of the magnet wire for the other points for signals and whatnot. In order to strip this, what I was doing was touching the edge of the magnet wire into a glob of solder to melt the enamel off. See that I'm kind of shaking here because the heat does in fact travel down a copper wire. So I started with the most difficult, in my opinion, points of this entire thing, the CMD and CLK. This was kind of a long process, so I'm cutting a lot of it out here, but more or less you need to solder to the side of these here. It's documented on the GitHub. It ended up looking okay. It's good enough. I mean, clearly it works, right? Skipping forward by quite a bit, I had already soldered the SC cables that I needed to and moved on to using some Kapton tape to make the wires stay where they are, mostly just to keep the leverage off of those solder joints as much as I could. These are the 3.3 volt and ground, the ones that I pulled out of the micro USB cable, which are very thick and are rated for this, so there shouldn't be any issues with them getting too hot or melting or otherwise. Generally, you don't want to use super thin cable for points like this. By the way, remember to use a lot of flux for the solder joints here. I spent forever trying to get my joints to stick without flux and it just wasn't really working, so it does help a lot. Louis Rossmann would be very proud. Once I had everything soldered, I flipped the board over and applied a very reasonable amount of Arctic MX4 thermal paste. I had thought about PTM 17950 but chose not to do that as I figured I'd be taking this back apart shortly to troubleshoot, so I might go back and put some PTM on it at some point in the future. After that, I reattached the cooling assembly to the motherboard, and the next issue was trying to get the cables out from under the motherboard. Attaching this tray, I noticed that the cables would get pinched by it, so I just got a pair of snips and started cutting away at the shield here. So you can see that I made kind of a mess, which is to be expected given the snips, but I straightened it back out as best I could with the snips that went in the first place and reattached the tray to the board, and you can see that the cables come out cleanly at the bottom here, so this is ready to go back into the bottom shell of the PS3. After a bit of assembly later, I'm now soldering on the RP2040 chip. There's an X that like marks the spot and stuff right here that you can put the RP2040 in. I wrapped mine in Kapton tape because I didn't want it to short on anything, but I just threw it in where the X is so it would sit underneath the Blu-ray drive, and it worked out really well. So first startup time.
That's good, it did the 3 beeps. Okay, it still boots, at least. Oh shit. Alright, let me turn my controller on. Okay. Enable him. Oh.
So that notification in the top right is exactly what you want to see, because that indicates that the mod chip is working correctly. I had already installed HIN and StageX on a copy of OFW before installing the mod chip. Moving over to hybrid firmware tools and to the QCFW options, you can click on install QCFW, and you'll notice that the background is frozen, which is completely normal while it installs EvilNAT firmware. I would say maybe after 10 minutes or so, my console started back up, and you can see here on the boot splash that EvilNAT firmware is working. Moving over to the custom firmware tools, after completing this, there's not too much missing, pretty much everything that you would expect out of EvilNAT. Even other OS is here, which would allow you to boot FreeBSD and otherwise on a PS3, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. So huge thanks to the BadWDSD developers. This is absolutely awesome. I didn't think I'd see the day when I'd be able to install FreeBSD and Gentoo on a PS3 Superslim. This model in specific is a Chech 4001B, and it worked out really well. Later.